to the chase.
He volunteers himself, goes up to the agents, and offers himself up. What? To be searched?
Look, I figure they're looking at me. It's not because I look like Giselle. So why not make it easier for everyone involved?
I've never heard of anybody doing that before.
Well, on top of people being more and more afraid of people who look like me, we end up being resented.
Those agents are working hard not to discriminate, then here comes this guy and just calls them out.
Pure, unmitigated, passive aggression, my wife likes to call it.
I think maybe she's got a point.
Hey, I think it's kind of admirable, Amir. If everyone was so forthcoming, the world would be a very different place.
It's racial profiling.
I know what it is.
That was a scene from the Lincoln Center Theater production of the new play Disgrace. Joining us now, one of the stars of that play, Aasif Mandvi. He's, of course, also a member of the Daily Show news team. Aasif, welcome back. Good to see you.
How are you?
Doing all right.
Nice to see you again.
You know, every time we have you on, you're in a dramatic play. And so I don't know whether to call you a comedian or the next great dramatic actor of our time.
I like the next.
The Olivier. You like this?
I like the next
Olivier.
Great dramatic actor, comedian of our time.
Laurence Olivier.
It is, exactly.
How do you balance those two things, though? I mean, you're funny in the, when you're on the Daily Show.
Yeah.
And here you get a little heavier.
Well, I started as an actor.
Right.
So I grew up in the theater and went to acting school and all that stuff. So for me, it's not that much of it. I ended up on the Daily Show from an audition and as an actor, and now because of the popularity of the Daily Show and people think of me as more of a comedian, which I've done a lot of comedy in my life and continue to love doing comedy, but I also love doing dramatic stuff.
So he's really saying that Jon Stewart's perverted him from his true class.
Yes.
It's kind of holding you back
Jon
from your
Stewart has
destiny.
perverted me in a lot of ways.
He's wrenched him from his proper context. And by the way, we'll be talking about that in just a minute. But first, let's talk about Disgrace.
Yes.
And talk about the setup of it. You're a successful Pakistani-American lawyer.
Yes.
You're on your way up. But there's a scene in the dinner party.
Yeah.
Where
it all goes
gets
south.
Very contentious, and suddenly you're going, what? Hey, what?
Yeah.
I'm from India.
Yeah. Well, the play's it's a wonderful play, and it really is the meat of it is a dinner party where you have these very smart, erudite, sophisticated Upper East Side New Yorkers discussing race politics, identity politics, Islam, sexual politics, and then the whole dinner party just goes south, and you realize that it really comments on people's tribal identities and how we, as much as we want to say, well, it's United Colors of Benetton and we all get along and everybody, when push comes to shove, people devolve to that base level often of what their tribal identity is.
They certainly can, and we saw that when you had a Muslim group that wanted to put up a community center.
Yeah,
in downtown New York.
Yeah, and you had these people who were building something based on their religion and their faith and stuff, and then you had other people who felt very strongly that this was somehow encroaching upon some identity they had as New Yorkers and as Americans, and so you had these two things conflicting, and that's really what the play deals with.
So is this a commentary more, would you say, on your character, Kapoor, or on the yuppie New York crowd
I
trying
think
to fit
it's a commentary
into?
on both. I think what's amazing about this play is that everybody is right and everybody's wrong, and it makes a commentary on how we don't listen to each other, how we often, because of our prejudices, our innate prejudgments, we don't often listen to what other people have to say, and we've already decided and we shut down the conversation and just go right to our our basest levels.
And John Eilman, how fascinating, after 9/11 you had people, some of the most progressive people in one of the most progressive cities in America, suddenly becoming very tribal.
Yeah.
And I would not say hysterical, because after 9/11 nothing is it's hard to say anything's hysterical, but certainly becoming far less open-minded about people with a Muslim faith and background.
And engaging in, the kind of people who would have denounced racial profiling,
right?
Whether explicit or unconscious, we're engaging in it all the time. Sometimes just in their heads, but sometimes like actively. So God, I'm worried about getting on the plane with that guy with the turban, whatever.
Yeah.
Your guy in this play he's trying to kind of run away from his cultural roots, right? He's kind of pretending to be more
American. Yeah, I mean, it really also is about, you know, the fragmenting of identity in terms of like especially as an immigrant, especially today as Muslim Americans, a lot of Muslim Americans, you know, change their names. I mean, the character in the play changes his name to sound more Hindu than Muslim, you know, because he wants to disassociate from his Islamic heritage, and that's really his underpinnings. I mean, that's what undermines him ultimately in the play, is his inability to reconcile with his own heritage, you know.
I love the idea that he's rejected Islam in favor of Magnolia Bakery. he wants to
He's a New Yorker. He's a New Yorker.
I gotta say, that seems like a reasonable trade to me, but not as a comment on Islam. It's just Magnolia Bakery.
Listen, you know, I was raised Muslim, and we love Magnolia.
And you would give it up like
Muslims
that.
Muslims love Magnolia Bakery. I'm saying that on television.
Though he would give up his faith for cupcakes.
Right.
Wouldn't we all? Come on.
Yeah, let's be honest.
You've been to Magnolia.
He has defended the Islam faith. I think you've covered all your bases, and I doubt there will be riots outside the Daily Show tonight.
Damn it.
Damn it. Okay, let's
It's always fun when we have riots outside.
Right. You can see Disgraced, and you ought to go see Disgraced. December 2nd at the Claire Tao Theater in New York City through December 2nd. So it's great to see you.
Thanks. Good to see you guys.
Thank you so much.
All right.
More Morning Joe when we come back.